Hi guys, I'm Agnieszka and it's almost bedtime, but I received this package from China that I wanted to share with you and ask some questions. Maybe you know the answers. So I ordered this pattern thing from China, and the instructions followed, but they were all Chinese, so I clearly couldn't understand what's written. And that is how they look. This is the front side. There is the sleeve part, and we also have the back part. They have so many additional information on them that I am not sure how to use, and maybe you will have some ideas because I find them fascinating. So up until now I was using those three methods, where one is where you buy a PDF pattern online and then you print it out and glue it together, and it's made for your size. Later on I bought this book that explained how you can make the pattern exactly for your size and make the clothes that are perfect for you. And of course the newspapers where you know the arc follows, where you have all the sizes and patterns together and just kind of have to find the ones that are important for you. This is the back piece that I made using the instructions from the book. So this is specifically for my size, and my size is almost exactly your typical 36 from the shops, right? And you have this slit here, and another one here. This should help with the natural curves of your body. And I will also added this curve here because I like to wear the clothes that are fitted correctly. And then we can compare those two, because this is the back panel from China. So let us. I don't know how much can you see here, but the slit here, those tiny little, yeah, now you can see them. This has the same function as that one in here, because you can basically move them all around whichever way you want. So we can compare them. Yeah, and you can see, I hope you can see that they are almost exactly the same size and the same place. You can see that the tiny red dots follow that slit here perfectly, which basically means that I did a good job while drawing this pattern for myself. So I can be proud of myself. And then the difference is that the Chinese pattern, you can see it better here. Yeah, the Chinese pattern suggests that we should do two slits. One in here. This, I assume, is your center side back point or something. And another one here. Now, those double slits are something that I didn't see in the European patterns up until now, but I do find them interesting, and I'm really curious what will happen when I put them on the mock-ups that I'm planning to sew together. Because when we go back to the pattern that I drafted, then you can see that this that the placing of the slit is exactly the same. It's in here, but the width of it does not correspond with the one we have here. It fits the one that's here. I can show you. If we move that is the size that they suggest. It's just in another place. So I wonder if maybe what happens here is that I used that slit in this place, while that one corresponds to the curve that I cut out in here, which is interesting, but I will test that theory tomorrow. So when we come back, so when we come back to take a look at that back piece once again, you can see that there are those slits that I mentioned here and here. There is the top one here, but with the suggestion that you can also have it placed here. But they also have all those other openings that I'm not sure how to use. The ones in here and the triangle here, the shape in here, triangle here, the round thing here and here. So I'm wondering if there is a tailor amongst you that could possibly tell me what are they and how one should use them, because it's really interesting. And now we can talk about the front piece, which again I'm going to compare to the pattern piece that I drafted based on this fun little book. So once again, they do suggest those two bottom slits, right? The same as they did in the back piece. One is placed here, and the other one is supposed to be placed here, and actually go as high as the slit that shapes your breast area here. You can see this is the top of that little triangle that they would wish we make. And in my drafted pattern, I only had one slit down below. And once again, you can see that it's, that my slit is wider than the one that they suggest I make at this place. But instead they have that other one. And you can also see that because of that, their pattern is so much wider than mine, because mine ends here. And they still have that much more of a suggested fabric that we use. Other changes is that you see this is the one slit in my drafted pattern that its function is to shape the breast area. They have the similar one, but it doesn't end on the side, it ends in the arm area, which I find interesting. I didn't try that before. I guess I could try. And once again, if we turn the pattern to compare those two slits, they turn out to be almost a perfect match, which again makes me happy, because that means that I did something right while drafting my own pattern. And the same as with the back piece, they have those openings here and measurement places that I don't really quite understand how can I use them. Like they have this little protractor here to measure the angles, but I'm not sure how can I use that in drafting a pattern, as well as these round shapes here. I'm not sure what they should indicate. And the same with those here and here and here and here. So, and the one here. So if anyone has any idea what their function could be, please let me know. And the last piece that followed was the sleeve piece. That again has those mysterious openings. But what I found the most interesting was that the difference between what I assume is the front of the sleeve and the back of the sleeve is not as intense as I would expect it to be. We can compare it with the sleeve pattern of, well, one of the patterns that I own for non-stretch fabric dress, and you can see that the difference between the back and the front is way more dramatic. They are very much uneven, and you have to have that shape because the non-stretch fabrics, you have to move them some way. You have to allow the place for your arms to move. So I am a little bit worried that if you use that kind of shape in for a non-stretch fabric, you will not be able to move your arms around that much. So I'm really curious if any of you have been using those plastic pattern making thingies from China and what your experience is. I should mention that the one that I bought, it's supposed to work for 3 sizes, 34 I think, 36 and 38, and I assume that the way you can change the size is to use those measurements here to make it 1 centimeter smaller or larger. Yeah, so please let me know, I'm really curious. Bye. So this is how the final result looks like, and one thing that I forgot was I made an opening on the side because I just wanted to make it easy and short, but I forgot to make sure that my head will pass through the neckline, so now I'm just gonna have to make that neckline a little bit bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
So overall, I'm surprised that I like this invention because I didn't expect myself to like it. I didn't expect the final garment to fit the way it does. I'm pretty happy with it. But still, I will be very grateful for any additional information on how to use all those additional openings and features that I can't figure out yet. I should mention that to test it, I just cut it out the way it was. I didn't add any allowance. I didn't change one bit. And apparently I'm very lucky that the final effect fit me. The sad part is that I didn't find sizes bigger than European 38. But I think that if they will see that the demand exists, they will most likely make the bigger sizes as well, because I think it's a very, very useful tool for anyone who wants to make patterns and draft patterns and make their own clothes in their own homes. Please let me know in the comments if you ever used those forms and how was your experience with them, because I'm really, really curious. Happy sewing! Goodbye!